Hello everyone, welcome to iTalk. I am Chu Yao. In the last two episodes, we have shared Chinese perspectives on Afghanistan after the US withdrawal and the underlying reasons for US failure. From today, we'll be sharing Chinese perspectives on the effects of Afghan politics on the current world order. In today's video, we'll share two articles from Chinese scholars, one on geopolitical significance of Afghanistan and the other on why the country has been called the graveyard of empires. The first article is a written record of the discussion between Professor Feng Shaolei, Professor Zhang Xin, and Dr. Cui Heng on the changing world order, the Afghan issue, and construction of the Eurasian order. The second article is from Professor Wang Yong, Great Powers' Failure in Afghanistan, why Afghanistan was regarded as the graveyard of empires. From 2001, the United States launched the Afghanistan War, until 2021, when the United States completely withdrew its troops from the country. This war that had lasted for 2 decades was the longest war in American history. Moreover, it was also a critical window for the audiences worldwide to observe the changing world order in the first 20 years of the 21st century. In September 2021, during the conversation with Dr. Cui Heng, Professor Feng Shaolei, and Professor Zhang Xin mentioned three great powers' failure in Afghanistan. Professor Feng and Professor Zhang pointed out that Afghanistan is a strategic pivot point located in the intersection of geological plates of East Asia, Middle Asia, South Asia, and Persia. It is indeed the heart of Asia. In the last 20 years, as the political situation in the Middle East was going through fundamental changes, the geopolitical significance of Afghanistan cannot be underestimated. Professor Wang Yong raised a similar point as the previous scholars when talking about the geopolitical significance of Afghanistan. He also referenced Mackindor's heartland theory, the concept of pivot area. He stressed that scholars who advocated the heartland theory see Afghanistan as the pivot area. It is believed that whoever controls Afghanistan will control the world island and possess the power to shape the world order. Therefore, Great Britain, the Soviet Union, and the United States all have wanted to occupy such an advantaged position as part of their rivalry and further expand their influences. As a result, considering the geopolitical significance of Afghanistan, great powers have attempted to use Afghanistan to fulfill their political agendas. Thus, Afghanistan has been a prime venue where international political struggles occur, and formation of contemporary Afghanistan and the country's political fate, to a large extent, has been a result of empire rivalries. The geopolitical significance of Afghanistan has sadly become a geographic curse on Afghanistan, as great powers successively invaded the country. Nevertheless, as the outcomes of all these invasions had been unsuccessful, Afghanistan actually evolved into the graveyard of empires. Professor Wang believes that there are 4 reasons to explain this great power's failure in Afghanistan. First, Afghanistan is a complicated country, geographically because of its location and landscape. 80% of its land is mountains and caves. Foreign forces unfamiliar with this will likely be confined within this harsh atmosphere. Therefore, despite the lack of technology and equipment, this unique landscape has put Afghan militants in a favorable position in selecting battle locations and responding to foreign attacks. That's why the great powers like the US and Soviet Union failed. Second, politically, Afghanistan is a country with a complex tribal system. This map shows the distribution of all the ethnic groups of Afghanistan. there have been intense divisions amongst the regional warlords and the country's ethnic tribes. The relationships between them have been difficult to reconcile. As a result, it is tough to establish an effective, united, and consistent governance system. Furthermore, Afghanistan has complicated relationships with neighboring countries, especially with Pakistan and Iran. Neighboring countries' interventions into Afghanistan's affairs have relatively strong impacts on Afghan domestic governance. If Western threats to Afghanistan have the potential to harm the interests of neighboring countries, then it is believed that these neighbors will likely continue to interfere in the Afghan politics. Lastly, to a certain extent, political struggles among major powers have resulted in the failures in invading Afghanistan. As we just mentioned, neighboring countries will adopt roles in influencing matters inside Afghanistan for their safety. Regardless of the motives of great powers' invasions of Afghanistan, it would ultimately evolve into the conflicts between Muslim and non-Muslim interests. After going through these two articles, it can be concluded that the geopolitical significance of Afghanistan and its history of constantly being invaded by great powers has resulted in the country being in a chaotic and turbulent state today. The long-standing problems in Afghanistan remain unsolved. That's all for today. Thank you for listening. For more information on iGCU, please follow us on Facebook and Twitter. See you very soon. Stay tuned.